issues.
You gotta love it. All right, we're gonna edit all that out. Now, nonetheless, welcome to the Air Raid Attack Podcast. I'm your host, Michael. As always, listen to us on iTunes and Amazon Music. Guess what? All you gotta say is Alexa, play the Air Raid Attack Podcast, and guess what? She'll play it for you. Because you know why? My kids do it all the time, and it's actually kind of annoying sometimes. Nonetheless, we got two amazing guests. As I mentioned earlier, Dan Cruz, the host of the Time DBS podcast, and Hoang Lam, the host of the Defining Moments podcast. Gentlemen, welcome. Hoang, it's nice outside. We're supposed to get colder here in Oklahoma City.
Yep.
And Dan, how's New York treating you, buddy?
It's New York, so it doesn't really mean much, but it's not bad.
First things first, Dan, I know I've been seeing, if you guys don't follow these two on Twitter or any social media platform, you guys are missing out on a lot. Dan, of course, I applaud you for your amazing weight loss journey, dude. That's a pretty amazing, dude. Keep it up, my man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
And Hoang, if you guys love couple pictures in front of the flags, man, him and his wife Margie are two class act people. I'm not saying it because he's my best friend. I'm saying it because it's actually genuine. Hoang, how are you, sir?
Fantastic, man. Appreciate you having us on tonight, brother. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure. You know, it was funny is last week I was trying to plan for, trying to get some guests on and trying to schedule. I'm like, I know Dan's got Hoang on Time to BS. I'm like, hold up. Text real quick, and here we go. But this is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. The unfiltered, unscripted, 100% authentic podcast, the Air Raid Attack Podcast. So I can't promise we're going to be nice. I can't promise you we're going to be good. I don't know what we're going to talk about. But first things first, gentlemen. Let's put it out there. I'm not going to go too much into this one and say this person's name. I don't know these people personally, but what are your guys' thoughts? First off, freedom of speech. We all recognize that nowadays you got to watch what you say on social media, aka me, because you get banned.
Good job.
Hey, I try my best. I got a bucket list, Dan. So at this rate, I'm going to get this bucket list. Well, I was telling Juan. So any of you guys that don't know, or you guys been hiding under the rock. So a few weeks back, Dan, you were a part of this. A few weeks back, I was driving home. Texting driving is not safe. I was driving home, and I was on the Air Raid Attack Podcast Instagram page. Dan was doing a live stream. Will, who's a buddy of Dan and myself, but Will comes on. Those two are talking. Dan mentions, "Hey, that's Mike." I think Will's, asked, "Well, who's this?" or whatever, and Will asked me to follow him. Well, I got kicked off of Dan's live stream. Thanks, Dan. But nonetheless, I'm joking. It's not his fault. Nonetheless, I get a thing from Instagram saying, "Hey, your account has been." Practically, I got signed off. I tried to log back on last night. I tell Hoang. I get a notification, just like I'm looking at it right now. Your account has been deactivated. No one can find it. You cannot use it due to common community standards. I violated them. I don't know what I did because I can guarantee you had no followers and very few following. I don't know what I did. Leads me to this, and I'm not going to get nobody fired, so bear with us. But when it comes to social medias, podcasting, when it comes to YouTube is a big thing. Should jobs, and I know, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is I read an article, a woman did a podcast, somehow her work found out, didn't like what she said, got fired. Long story short, in the society we live in today, and unfortunately, it's being stricter and stricter and stricter as we get closer to whatever we're trying to get accomplished here. Your thoughts on our freedom of speech, first of all. In my opinion, it's violating it. Second of all, is it a legit reason? And if it's nothing that's not, if you're not, say for example, And I know I'm trying to expand this way out, and I should. But for example, Dan, let's just say, oh, the Islanders are the greatest team on earth, or Hoang. Hey, you Vietnamese are probably the best, smartest culture race out there. Okay, well, I offended my, the whites, the blacks. Everybody got now offended because I'm thinking the Vietnamese are the best that's out there. Probably true because they're, but nonetheless, does it give a job a right? Here we go. Long story short, does it give a job a right to fire someone for, first of all, being off the clock? Second of all, doing a podcast. I don't know what she said. I'm not, I'm gonna have to look it up some more. But nonetheless, giving them the right to talk to on the podcast, free will, freedom of speech, and then firing the next day. Your thoughts on that, Wong?
Yeah, that's a good question. And for me, it's really simple. Where I work, I not only represent my company I work for in the office, but I represent them outside the office. And what I mean by that is I work at Chesapeake Energy, and I know my boundaries, I know my limits, I know what they stand for, I know what I stand for. I represent my wife, my mom and dad, my family, my friends like you gentlemen outside of the business world. So I understand that I have to be respectful. At the same time, I can express what I want to get across without being crass, without being disrespectful, and without using just negative language, right? There's ways to do all that and articulate it without letting too much emotion get involved in the conversation. And so, unfortunately, I do feel like sometimes companies do overstep their boundaries as far as limiting the freedom of speech because they're like, oh, hey, you shouldn't have said that. Well, the political correct glass has gotten too tall and too thick. And if you can't be able to express yourself outside the work area and have fun doing it inside the work area that we work at 9 and 10 hours a day of our lives, I mean, at that point, is it even worth it to be at that company?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
This is tricky, but...
Well, it is, and that's a thing that a lot of people, I don't know if my people know.
Whiskey just burned my eyes. Oh, God. Off to a great start. Oh, it felt great. Woo! Okay.
And for the viewers out there, I know we got them. I got the count. We got quite a bit. Comment if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Let us know your thoughts as well on the subject we're talking about. Feel free to join the conversation. But go ahead, Dan.
I am neither for nor against it because it's very tricky to dissect it per se. So you, like what Hoang said, he represents his company. He represents on the inside and on the outside of the company. So you have to be careful what you say. From the athlete perspective, which I am not an athlete, but if I were to look at this from an athletic perspective, you can't, let's say, trash your team, publicly online, because eventually that's going to get you axed. So if you were to say something stupid, that would be justified in this case. Like, oh, I'm going to, not say I would do this, but let's just say in theory, someone I know goes to social media and says, oh, I'm going to snort cocaine at my job today. You have a right to get fired for that case. Because 1, you're breaking a law. 2, you're being an idiot.
And 3, you're breaking company policies.
There you go. So, oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's inbounds nor is it out of bounds here, but let's just say you're a school teacher, Okay, let's just say you're like a preschool teacher, and the principal of said preschool finds out you've been doing an OnlyFans.
Oh Jesus!
Okay. Now
Well, first
we
off,
see.
nobody wants to see me on OnlyFans.
I mean, me maybe, but like me, not like a year ago. But listen, I'm a pretty attractive dude. But come on now, Hoang is petrified right now.
I'm just taking it all in, man.
Wong's gonna check his watch. He said, "Yeah, I gotta go. My wife's calling me. I gotta vent."
I don't wear watches, man.
Look at you, Slicker.
Look at you, slick.
I'm gonna hook you up, Wong. I'm gonna hook you up.
Yeah.
I'll hook you up.
Good man. Good man.
But no, I mean it is. It's a touchy subject, but it's one I think is, and the previous guest that was on the show, I completely agree with him. Nowadays, unfortunately, you obviously have to watch what you say on podcasts, even though I like to vent. And Wong knows this. I'm in public, but nonetheless, it's just I don't see where, and I guess it's the culture that we live in now. So much of, and I'm not bringing politics in, but you kind of have to at least with this topic, because the previous administration, you had no issues. We never saw Facebook practically slapping our hands, practically giving everybody warnings. My boss gave her warning. I got mine eventually as well for just making a gesture saying I'm going to throat punch somebody, but they took it offensive. Instagram says I apparently did something. I don't even know what I did. So I'm banned from there. Twitter's actually my best friend. I like Twitter. But, you can still go to Twitter jail for saying something. Nonetheless, I don't know if it's a culture or what. But is it safe to say that was it now because how am I going to say this right? All right, here we go. Hey, I don't want to bring politics into this one, but I'm going to have to because it makes more sense. The previous administration, we had nothing. We had no issues with any type of social media, podcasts going off, being cut off. I had with Clyde, I got cut off completely. Anything like that, some weird guy next door or came by the next day and visit my backyard. I really don't know what that was about. And now with the current administration, doing their thing, now we've seen a whole lot worse. Is it the culture of a certain political party? I know it's not the right thing to say, but you got to, or is it we just now are living in times that we have to literally watch what we say?
We can't upset the alphabet people.
Big Brother's watching this.
Shit.
Well,
my bad. We can't upset the overly sensitive people. There we go.
Oh, the snowflakes.
Good save. Good save by Dan. Yeah, we can't upset the overly sensitive people who can't take an ounce of sense of humor in their life, or a joke, or a compliment, or an insult. You have to immediately result to, oh, this guy made fun of me, cancel him. Like, how hard it is to run a show specifically about sports and BS, and you can't make fun of people? How hard it is to do that? It's difficult.
Well, it's tough because you're walking on eggshells. In the sense of, well, what do I say? If I say, Michael Jordan's 462 pounds, does that mean he's fat? Well, now all the fat people get offensive. And like I told Dave in the literally right off the first podcast was, you got to watch what you say. And obviously, I'm not going to go on a, beat the roof and literally practically go off on a rampage. But I think it's some of these topics I think should be brought up because I think it's people need to be aware that, hey, we are actually being watched, what we are saying, regardless if you guys don't think that's true or not. And I know Hoang, I know you and I have a lot of conversations, especially during lunch, or even not even during lunch, that I don't know if I told you the story, Dan. I know I told Hoang, and Hoang, I'll let you speak as well. As I kid you not, and this is where I led this to, is Clyde and I had a podcast a few weeks ago. Somewhere, somehow, and you can watch the live stream or the broadcast now, but at the end, probably the 45th minute, it wasn't a very long one, but at the end, all of a sudden I go, boom, completely cut off. Completely cut off. This is when Clyde and I were talking about vaccinations.
There we go.
Clyde cannot, and this is not political, this is honest to God truth. Clyde cannot take a vaccination because he has real bad health issues. He named the word. I'll text him. I am not going to now. I'm sure he's busy, but there's a certain health issue that he had that he got when he's down in Honduras. His wife's from Honduras. So he came back. Doctor said, we're going to have, you were admitted for the hospital. So he can't take the shot because of that.
Yeah.
Now, in New York, I know as well. And here in Oklahoma, there's a few venues that you got to show proof. But you got to show proof. And like he said, unfortunately, he can't, because on his end, he can't risk what potential side effects are there for him.
Correct.
He almost died with this. But we carried on. I made a joke, and it was just as joke. So what you're going to do when the Biden administration come knocking on your door? Because that's what we get a lot. The Biden administration, the CDC, doesn't matter who. They're going to come knocking on your door, making sure everybody's vaccinated. Whatever. Cool. If that's what you want to do, then be my guest. Literally, we kept talking. We ain't blasting nobody. We had a legit series. He's a Democrat. So everybody knows. Clyde's a Democrat. He's a proud Democrat. He wears a blue. There. So everybody say, it's a Republican bash party. No. It's a Republican and a Democrat talking. That's what it was. Peaceful talking.
America.
So anyway, yeah, we can actually have those. I mean, I know the Communist News Network doesn't like that very much, but we can actually have conversations with people.
Here's my point. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. But here's my point. This is exactly what I look for. Because who's got the echo? Someone has the echo here. But regardless, why can't we all just get along? How hard is this? This isn't hard. It's like, I don't care. Like, okay, so this is an outdated reference for those of you who are listening. Herman Munster in the 60s, 50s, outdated reference for those of you. Herman Munster was about a family of a Frankenstein, like a Frankenstein family. And I remember this very clearly, clear as day. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, bi, fat, skinny. I don't care. Like, ugly, handsome. I don't care. What matters most is the size of your heart and the strength of your character. Okay, cool. Like, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, split down the middle, gay, bi, trans. I don't care. I mean, are you a good person? Great. That's all I look for. And that's great. That's great. Like, we should all just be like that. This doesn't have to be, we live in the United States of America, but damn it. It's fucking freedom. I guess freedom of speech. Free to do whatever the hell you want. If you decide to ride a unicycle upside down with some plates stacked on your feet, do it. It's America. Do whatever the hell you want. If you decide to go skydiving off the Empire State Building, do it. It's America. But to say that you're not supposed to do something because, you're Republican or you're Democrat or because you're gay or because you're straight, I don't care. Like, this is America. Freedom, baby. Let's go. Continue.
And real quick, and I'm not going to take much time on the story. Long story short, so we had a conversation. I asked a question. I kid you not, right after we kind of joked about it, probably a minute and a half, I got literally cut off my own podcast. He continues like, Mike, I didn't even edit out the way he edited out the podcast. It was hilarious. But he actually ends the show on his own way. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he actually says, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And I text him, dude, I don't know what happened. I'm trying to get back on. Unfortunately, the show ended. And that was that. Following day, and I told Hoang this at lunch a few weeks back. I kid you not, Dan. Some random butt dude knocks on the door, right?
Oh, are you kidding me?
He tells my wife, well, I'm with OG&E. OG&E is our local electric company. I'm here to check your telephone pole, your electrical pole, which is northeast corner of my house. She texts me. I'm like, why? We had no ice storm. We had no tornadoes. The pole was perfectly fine. We had way below freezing, and Hoang knows, we had way below freezing temperatures and ice back in October and then early this year. That survived.
Yeah, you were in an ice storm.
Yeah, that survived. Why is he checking it? Well, I don't know. That's what he said. He showed his little credential. Okay. Goes back to, I said, so what did he do back there? She's like, oh, well, all he did was literally stand semi in front of it, but he looked around at other people's houses. And then he came back the next day. I told her, I said, did he put anything back there? No.
Yeah, he's lying.
Like right now, my computers are flipping out. But here's the deal. And this is where, why can't, and I'm not saying, and it might just be one, oh, you're just a paranoid little white boy. Okay, so be it. If I am, then I am. Let people express their feelings. That's what America's about.
Freedom.
Because right here, I know I was showing Hoang this. I might have shown you, Dan. Right here is the flag that was on my grandfather's casket because he fought. He was in the Vietnam War. He was in the Korea War for 22 years. Served this service, and I'm proud of that flag right over there. That's what him and everyone else did, Coach George and everyone else did for our country, and for this reason. But anyway, I'm done venting on that one. Hoang, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks. Hey,
boy.
I want to turn it back about a few minutes. You talked about culture and corporate culture or just any culture, and then you talked about your podcast. So the question that you would have to answer yourself is, what kind of culture do you want to cultivate, and how do you start a culture? And from there, you can build your podcast, because the culture that you're probably wanting to build is your authentic self. And you do that with habits, by social media, by what you do in the morning and the evening. What do you do throughout the day that exemplifies your true character, your true personality? And then that podcast that you have takes hold of your character, and then you're able to host a show. Then it's up to the guests that you reach out to do research on you to see if they want to come onto your show, because they have to understand that, hey, dude, it's Air Raid Mike. This is an Air Raid podcast. It's unfiltered, unscripted. It's real. And if you can't handle it, then you don't need to be on. I'm just letting you know up front. But you cultivate that culture by your habits.
There you go.
I totally agree. And, we got, and I made a lot of friends here, even in the last week and a half, just podcasting. I think a lot of people now are getting to that point that, what attracts them, I think you nailed it, is you got to be yourself on a podcast. And I'm not saying, go on a 22-minute ramble fest of whatever. I mean, obviously produce it to where you actually get a point out instead of just rambling. I don't care if you're rambling about the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Libertarians. I don't care what you want to ramble about, but just ramble. But you got to be yourself, because if you're saying something on the podcast and then you're tweeting out something different, a lot of and like you mentioned, a lot of people they're gonna get like, "What's Mike about? He's wishy washy on this. What's Dan about? He's wishy washy on this. Wong, well, he's he's wishy washy on this." So I think that a lot of people actually nowadays, and with podcasts being so big, that's really how a lot of people now relate to how to get to know that one person that who's the host.
Right. No, I agree. You have to be authentic. You have to be personal. You have to be genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And so you as a host, obviously what I see and talk to you through this, I met you in person and you're the exact same person. As far as personality, obviously you look the same, but personality wise, right? I would imagine if we went and saw Dan and met him and shook his hand in person, he'd be the exact same person because you can feel the genuineness when you're speaking to him or texting them, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and Dan, by the way, where do you live at in New York?
On the island. I got a whole tattoo of it on my arm.
That's what I thought. Wong asked me last night. I'm like, I want to say Long Island, but I said I don't 100% for sure.
So,
and of course, in a comment on Twitch, they were asking where all of us is at. I just said basically the podcast is from Oklahoma, Dan's New York, and Wong and I is from Oklahoma. Of course, I don't say no cities for safety reasons. So
just said Vietnam.
So, Jesus. So, what if we're so New York is based off of like 3 different places. You got the city, which is considered Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island. You get the 5 boroughs of Manhattan, of New York City. Then you get upstate, which is mountains and roads and stuff. And then you get Long Island, which is beaches and stuff, which is not true. All beaches. It's not entirely true. But I'm on Long Island. And when you come here, it's like, oh, I'm going to Long Island. I'm not in Long Island. It's on Long Island, you shitheads. So most of Twitter who gets that shit wrong, it's on Long Island. Assholes. You know who you are.
Unfiltered.
Oh, boy.
unfiltered.
We're an unfiltered podcast.
No, and the reason why I asked that because I also saw where were you at with all those mountains and near? Was that upstate?
That was upstate New York. Yeah, that was a very interesting time. So I had to wake up at 1:30 in the morning. This was funny. So I work like 2 minutes away, and I go to my shop at like 2:00 in the morning. I'm waiting for the guy I'm supposed to go with. He has the key to the shop. So I'm waiting for him. It's 2:45 later on. I'm going to go to 7-Eleven. I'm getting coffee. I'm getting a bite to eat. I'm getting some stuff. So 3:00 comes by. Still not here. I give him a call. And 4 in the morning, he arrives, opens up. We get what we need from the shop, drive up to upstate New York. It's about a 3-hour drive. If you leave early enough, you can get a 3-hour drive, beat traffic, and get to the sunrise right there. I don't know if you've ever seen mountainous sunrise or smell mountain fresh air. It is gorgeous. Well worth it. So we picked up what we had to do and then drive 4 hours back to the island. And we had some traffic through the city. Wasn't too bad, but yeah, that's what I did.
Nice.
It was worth it. It was nice. Just a pain in the ass.
But no, going back, I know we got sidetracked. I know we got sidetracked real quick, but no, going back to what Wong was saying, authentic. I can guarantee if we went to go and shakes Dan's hand and gave him a hug. I don't know if he likes hugs, but we'll give him a hug anyway. Shake his hand, give him a hug, and all this. I'm sure he's gonna be the same person that we see via the text, via the social media platforms, on Skype and Zoom and whatever else that there is out there. So, no, I agree. I think authentic, and I can definitely speak on Wong's behalf that he's hilarious in person. And just so everybody knows, if you want to have a good conversation with Wong out in public, do it. Because we get the world's best people looking at us while he's talking. We were going through a Whole Foods, which is right across the street, and I guess we missed the signs, which I really don't care. I guess we missed the signs of you got to wear a mask because the whole store had people with masks on. Of course, everybody's looking. I'm not wearing one, and so we sat down and had a good conversation, and a lot of people looked at us. But you know what? And I think a lot of, unfortunately, though, at the same time, is people need to realize it's okay to express yourself because what you see on TV is probably not what is actually legit. But I rest my case on that one.
Yeah.
Great start.
That was definitely raw and unfiltered.
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the best guide.
Yeah. I mean, so what he's talking about is we went to a grocery store and it had a mask sign and we walked in, but it just said mask was
was it
suggestion?
Yeah.
Right. And obviously we didn't have one, and we walked in, got the stuff, and came out, sat outside, and we just had a conversation about the mask and the vaccine, whether you want it, whether you don't, whether you want to wear one or you don't. To us, it doesn't matter. You do what you want.
Yeah.
And it just got a little bit louder, and people were watching, and it probably offended some people, and that's okay. The point is, you should have a conversation as long as if you're being real about it, and if you have the facts and you have the stats that back up what you're talking about, that's fine. And you can also have an opinion that it's not fact-based or stat-based, and that's fine too. However, if you're going to join a conversation and object to the conversation, at least have some substance to your thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think we live in a society, and it kind of started, you can go back even to 08. If you want to go back to 04, 04, you can probably go there as well. But, we live in a society to where, and people don't realize Wong currently coaches soccer, and he used to coach soccer and used to play soccer. And of course, Dan and I, we used to play sports as well. And I think nowadays people want that participation trophy. We gotta make him feel happy. Oh, you expressed your feelings. Oh my God, hold on, let me find you something. Here's a gift card for $25. I don't care. I guess they just want to feel loved or recognized, or even though your idea is probably not the greatest. I mean, I can have all kinds of ideas at work, and I'm sure half of them probably makes no sense to anybody else. But to me, I think it's hell. I think it's the best thing that's out there. But I don't expect the participation trophy and all this. But I mean, I'm sure Dan. I know you and I have some age year gap, but I'm pretty sure we're not probably the same boat. I'm sure when you were playing football and all the other sports that you were, I'm sure you probably did get a participation trophy when you finished 1-7 or whatever your guys' record was. I mean, I know I didn't. We sucked.
Well,
we sucked. I mean, yeah.
Our coach always said, "Hey, be the best player, be the best man you could be. Just do the best you can, but there is no such thing as perfection in the end." And another thing you always tell us is that, hey, work hard for whatever you do, because you're always going to have to get better at something. You're never the best at anything. Because, hey, do you think hell, do you think Tom Brady goes every Sunday onto the football field and says, "Hey, I'm the best at this. You can't touch me"? No, that's because he's humble and says, I'm better than you, but I'm probably not better than you at, blocking. I'm probably not better than you at the receiving or running the football, or because there are things that I need to get better at. And that's respect. I respect that. And, I hate his guts from a football fan perspective, but I respect him because he always has reasons to get better. There's no such thing as the best. There's just get better. So, yeah, this whole participation trophy crap is just – it makes me sick. It absolutely makes me sick because I work my ass off to be in the shape that I am, and I didn't get no trophy. I don't care. My trophy is, my awesome, sexy physique. That's my trophy. There's nothing more satisfying than look at yourself in the mirror and be like, wow, I'm hot.
Well, yeah, you guys are talking about participation trophies. And I just coaching and the way I live life and the way I walk through life is I'm not going to tell you that I am the best at everything. However, in my head, I am telling myself that I am the best, that I have worked hard. Then when I step onto that field, all I have to do is just look at you, and I know that I am going to beat your ass. And that's the truth, right? Because I have to let you know my intentions, and it's nonverbal, just the way I'm focused. That's just the way I'm wired. So I coached boys competitive for 15, 16 years, and I took 4 years off. And now I'm coaching this girls' recreational team. Number one, never coached a girls' team, and this is recreational, so it's a lot different from competitive. But I made it clear to the girls, like, man, there's one gear I have, and it's definitely not reverse. It's competitive. And so I'm going to coach you girls like I would the boys and give you that competitive edge. And here's how we're going to do it. And at the end of the day, it's not just about soccer, because soccer is a stepping stone, or sports a stepping stone into life. I'm more worried about your rolling average screen time on your cell phones. I'm more worried about how much more time you're spending with your parents. Are you doing the chores? Are you doing the extra little things in your community that makes the biggest difference, that makes you stand out more than any other girl in that community? Right? So what are you doing extra? Because I know I'm doing extra. I'm not going to sit there and tweet about it, but I know I am. Just like you guys. You're doing a lot more than just doing a show. You're doing a lot more than just working out. And obviously you can tell by your physique you have worked out. And that's amazing. But you're not going to sit there and blast at the world every minute. It's like, oh, look at me. I've been working out. We know that.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you know that.
Yeah. Because I'm not the kind of person that cares for, I don't need your pity. I don't need your endless amounts. I don't need it. I don't need the attention. I'm the kind of person that's like, okay, I don't care for numbers. I don't care for, money, fame, power, attention. I don't care for that. Because I know, all right, it's gonna, when it comes to attention, comes to ego, and with ego comes corruption. And I know deep down in my head, I know I don't want to go down that path. I want to keep going on the path going forward and being better, or getting better in this case, at whatever I'm doing, whether it's, podcasting, working out, diet, cooking. I don't know. It's just anything I can do to be better at, get better at. That's what I strive for.
Yeah. Now, and this question is to Michael, is we talked about the participation trophy and maybe a soft culture because the parents are trying to be more friends than they are trying to be parents. I don't have any kids. I can't speak to that. But as a coach, you can see it. And at that point, you can kind of correlate. I don't know if correlation is not the correct word, but mentally tough versus mentally weak versus just the mental health, right? And Michael, I know we talked about this with mental health, and you've talked about you go through it sometimes too, right? It's just how do you separate that, man, when you're trying to maybe self-talk? Is it something that's really affecting you mentally, or is it just because we're wanting a participation trophy?
Ooh.
And we don't attain it, then does that mean we're mentally weak if we don't get that first place or 17th place? Because 17th doesn't mean anything to me, but it might mean something to you, right? So,
Right. With my end, and a lot of people, I mean, my wife can definitely contest, and my oldest son, he's just like me, and my youngest is getting around there, but I think we're competitive, and so in a way, my dad always grew up, and I loved my dad to death, and I hope hope one day, I'm still hoping for that one day that he can get better, but we'll see. But but he always taught me. He said it doesn't matter. And he always told me this. It was a basketball game. I actually played basketball. You'd be surprised. Not very good, but I actually played. Nonetheless, he always at halftime, and he always came up to me real quick. He always said, "Doesn't matter how you start. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's how you finish." He always wanted us to improve. And I think to answer your question, to me, I want that first place trophy. Of course, Wong and I, we both know that OU there we win a lot down here, so we get that. But jokes aside, I think we want to better ourselves. I mean, at least I do. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I want to better myself, and I think that it's okay to what I would call get participation trophies. Because at the end of the day, I'm not asking go here's a participation trophy because you gave me a 5-page essay. Legit competitive league. I don't know if they even hand those out anymore, but let's just say you do. You get 5th place trophy. I know junior high they do, but so on and so forth. I think it's one of those things. It's okay if you get one because now you realize you're the 5th best individual, you're the 5th best team, whatever the case may be, and it gives you something to work on. And I think that if you accept that you're just mediocre, that you're just average, then you're going to be mediocre and average because that's your mindset that you're plugging into your mind to where, I can't do nothing better because X, Y, and Z. It's that mindset. So, and how can you separate that from mental health to to participation trophy? I think you have to. Yeah, it might suck to know I'm the 3rd best, 4th best, 5th best, runner up doesn't matter. Even if you win it all, you got to have that mindset to continue. If you are first, you got to continue to be that best of the best. Even if you're 7th, you got to keep that mindset and not let it come down to you where you're 6th and you're 7th. Well, I'm average. All I am is a janitor. All I am is a flipping hamburger flipper at McDonald's. I don't know what you call those people. I'm a cashier at Walmart, even though there's not many left because they're all self checkouts. But all of this, I think in a way you have to separate yourself. It's okay to lose. I hate losing, but it's okay to lose because you got to improve. Even if you win, still is a lot of improvement. And I think that mental health plays a lot of roles, and not just so much mental off, like you're going psychotic down the road, or here in Midwest City, unfortunately, mentally ill guy was in Midwest City shooting up in the air, a rifle in the air just for no reason, and people like that definitely need help. And I'll let Dan answer as well. As and Wong, I told you on your podcast back in March, I think February, March, somewhere in that ballpark, about my sister, and unfortunately, I don't talk to her much, but I think it's okay for people to realize it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. You got to improve. How can you improve? Write a goal list. If you knock out, write 5. For me personally at work, top 5. Here's the top 5 things I'm going to do. Boom, boom, boom. Knock them out. Cool, I knocked out. No. Make me another list. Make me another list. Make me another list. You always room for improvement. If you get mentally, and to answer your question, and I'll let Dan talk now. To answer your question, I think if you continue to get into your mind that you're below average or you're only going to be average, I think in a way that's going to be your mindset for the rest of your life, and that's what you're going to settle for.
Don't settle for the loser mentality is what I look at. Well, one thing I always try to look at is you can't dwell on the bad thoughts. I can speak from experience. I used to dwell on bad thoughts every day. Now, every morning I wake up, I say, okay, I will make sure today is a good day. If it's not the way I want it to be, okay, it's a decent day. If it's better than when I hoped it to be, that's a great day. But I will always make sure every day is a good day. And the trick that I try to teach people is like, okay, the bad thoughts are trying to be more powerful than the good thoughts. But deep down inside, every single person has, a reason to make sure today's a good day. You think someone wants to wake up in the morning and be a depressed shithead for the whole day? No. No one wants to be a sad loaf of bread. No one wants to be that. Everyone wants to have a good day. But to bring in your point of mental health, Mike, like your mental health is extremely important. I cannot stress that enough. And if you're not right in the head, well, work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like what helped me was working out at the gym, lifting heavy shit. That helps me. So the trick that you can teach yourself, for those out there who suffer from mental illness, is surround yourself with good people and with things that make you happy. Because, hell, I can say, the three of us, I get along with you guys. I love talking with you guys. I love being with you people. Because you guys help me put a smile on my face. And I love that. I always try to surround myself with good people. If there are people in your life that bring you down, get them out of your life. Because you don't need that. You don't. Surround yourself with good people. And that's just the best start that you can have.
Well, and I think continue to talk mental health, and of course, it's a big thing. Of course, if you guys are on Twitter, all you listeners is on Twitter, you've got to come across the scroll somewhere or another. Suicide prevention help hotline. So many, I know. It's a tough one to battle, and same question to both of you really is with COVID-19, of course, in 2020. Eventually, I'm sure we're going to get shut down again, but whatever. But let's say even going back to 2020, even currently, there's still states that have mask mandates that you got to wear your mask, you're isolating yourself, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter who answers it first. That has to take a toll on mental health. If you're already battling with suicide thoughts, cutting, depression just in itself, and I'm sure there's other ways to battle it or go through it, I should say. But how does that affect someone mentally, knowing that you can't hug the person, you can't even read the lips or get the vibe because you got this little whatever on your face that looks like a deity, and you got a mask on that you really, just so you know, Dan, I don't know if you wear masks or not. I don't, but unless we're really, 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 really have to, which I still don't. I can smell Clark's Crew barbecue in mine, so just so everybody knows. But anyway, jokes aside, back to a serious note. How does isolation and wearing the mask and being practically 6 feet apart, so to speak, help, or does it even hurt the person with the issue?
Well, someone who has schizophrenia, like myself,
Mhm.
I can tell you this: physical contact, whether it's give someone a hug or a handshake or you know whatever, whatever floats your boat, it feels great. Like not only physically but mentally speaking, because I live alone, so that certainly doesn't help. But whenever I'm going out, even if I talk to a random stranger on an elevator, I always say, hey, how's your day going? Tell me about your day. I want to someone who I'm on the phone with, like my mom or friends or other family members. I always ask them, how's your day been? How's your day today? Because I love hearing about someone's day. Knowing that they are having a good day is great. Like it helps. Because I know, all right, one, less work for me because I don't need to pump your ass up and tell you today's going to be a good day. Just watch. But it's physical and emotional contact is amazing. So good for you. Cannot stress that enough. Yeah, burn my eyes again.
Yeah, so Dan brought up some really great points, and I agree. To me, there are two types of communication. It's verbal and nonverbal. The nonverbal is the touch, the hugs, things like that. And the verbal is the, hey, how are you doing? Genuinely asking someone how they're doing. And if they're not having a good day, just to listen to them maybe vent and see what they're venting about and making sure they're not suicidal. Last year, I had asked two of my friends if they were feeling suicidal based on the conversations we were having. They were just venting. I was just listening and just listening. And so I asked a question. And if they would have said yes respectively, I take the keys, I call the proper authorities or take them to the proper authorities, and we go from there. But it's so important that the question, how are you doing, has to be genuine to Dan's point.
Mm-hmm.
Look them in the eye and genuinely ask them, how are they doing? Because here's the thing. If you look on the screen now, if you see this right here, this phone is one of the most dangerous weapons you'll ever own in your life.
Oh my God, yes.
Yep.
Right? And the more people are on it, it can be a great thing. However, just from what I've noticed in 2020, it is quite detrimental. The mask was detrimental. And I'm not saying don't wear a mask. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that out of context. It's how can you articulate a message or correspond with someone 6 feet away without a mask? Because with a mask, it honestly sounds muffled. To me, it does. And it's not a knock. It's just you can.
No, it's hard to talk and it's hard to hear someone talk.
Yeah, and you can just see in the eyes. You can see whether they're happy. You can see where they're scared. They're just full of fear just by their eyes now. And unfortunately, it's got to the point where there are quite a few that I've come across that walk in fear, live in fear, or don't even talk to me in an elevator because they're too worried about what's going on social media on their cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say 8 out of 10 going up the elevator on their cell phones. And I make it a point to ask them how they're doing because to me, that's important.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's where, everybody out there listening, we're not obviously, making any kind of suggestion not to wear a mask. We're just simply talking when it comes to mental health. And I think it comes back down to this is I think social media, in a way, if you really think about it, it actually plays more of a hurting role as long as how you use it. But especially if you're someone that's battling extreme depression, maybe you're not where you want to be financially, and you're seeing so and so taking pictures of themselves on Myrtle Beach or Paris or Austria, wherever you want to take your vacation from. I think social media has a lot of harm because, of course, as we all know, and everybody has those trolls. Everybody's got trolls. They got to have those trolls. I got one earlier. Everybody has those trolls, and mine was more just a retard being a retard. But but nonetheless, it's just I think why is that? And Dan, I'm going to ask you this because someone that obviously knows it, deals with it on a daily basis. Why is it that mental health issues, mental wellness, awareness, is not talked about much as it should be?
It's easy to answer, but it's difficult to answer.
Right.
Because if you were to take a study on the most depressed people on the face of this planet, I can tell you maybe 9 out of 10 of those people, or in fact all of them, spend most of their time on social media because they dwell, and this is not anywhere fact or proven, but this is what I've seen. They want to be something they're not. And I was talking to someone the other day. It's who is a chronic smoker, chronic drinker, and this individual is constantly on like TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. And I always tell them the best thing for you to help treat your depression or your anxiety, get off social media. Regulate your social media intake. Regulate everything. And I will tell you this. And I did this an example. I was off social media and Twitter for a good 4 or 5 months, and those who had my number could only reach me that way. And I will tell you, I got back on Twitter, I got back on Instagram after those few months. I remade a new Facebook. I deleted everything. And I remade everything after a few months because I knew, all right, I don't need this. I don't need social media. I have it. I do. I have it to keep track of family, keep track of sports. Definitely keep track of sports. That is obvious. And for podcast purposes, it's the only reasons I have it. And for talking to friends that, that I don't have their numbers. Those are the only 4 reasons I even have it. I don't have it to show off, my trip to Paris. I don't have it to show off, I met the president today. This is what I did. Or, this social media is an extremely toxic lifestyle. It's extremely toxic. And the best way to, I don't want to say cure your depression, but because hell, I still deal with it. But to treat it is the first thing you can do is how much is your social media intake? How much is your, intake of, let's say, drinking, smoking, drugs, whatever? So, regulate that. You don't have to quit smoking. You don't have to quit drinking. It's okay to have a cigar every now and then, or hell, a glass of whiskey every now and then. But it's all about regulations. It's all about regulating. It's like I scroll through Twitter every now and then throughout the day, but I know I don't need it. I sure as hell don't need it, but I have it. So that's my advice. Silence.
I think, yeah, and I was trying to gather my thought. I think, I think you're right. I think social media, everybody literally is so hooked on that they're going to miss the next big thing, whether it's whatever. I mean, I don't know what the next big thing is, but whatever, the biggest announcement of whatever. I think it was so glued to, oh, did you see little Mary's wedding pictures? Oh my God, I wish mine was like that. I was spent mine at the courthouse or whatever it might have been. I mean, I don't know how people talk about it, but I think social media plays a role quite largely. I think has a huge impact on on everybody's life. Obviously, this one is up in the air. If whoever wants to answer, if you feel comfortable. And I saw a stat, and I can't remember how much, but what it was. But long end of the story is suicide in teens is rising through the roof.
Yep.
Obviously, we know about internet bullying that does exist. I've never been bullied, but I know it exists out there. Obviously, I have a 12-year-old. We tell him, and he's a smart kid. He knows from right from wrong. But for the people out there that doesn't have that influence, the influential person in their life that's dealing with that, what's the best way? I mean, I don't know who listens to this podcast. It does tell me that I do have, in between underage kids or ages, which is I don't know, but whatever. Spotify lets you worry about that. But nonetheless, what would you tell that teenage person that's maybe listening or even watching on YouTube later on or whatever, may not have that father figure in their life or may not have whatever that's battling that? I mean, obviously, I don't know what to tell them, but anything to them, because obviously the teenage kids is the biggest hit right now.
Hoang, what do you got?
Well, number one, I don't have. This is my own thoughts because I'm not
Right.
giving advice. So it'd be interesting to see the comparison of maybe the stats of teen suicides in the United States versus maybe teen suicides in a communist country. And the reason why I say that is because the more press you get, your independent and critical thinking, which you're naturally inclined to do, you're not allowed to do for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of people that may not be able to communicate that well. I think there's no out. And the only out is suicide, potentially, right? And so how do we not get to that point? How do we say, hey, you're not suppressed? How do you get that message out even more? Because I do think listening to both y'all speak to mental health, mental awareness, mental illness, social media, parenting, there's a combination of all those things that play into what's going on. And that's including 2020 last year, whether it's the virus or the mask mandates, etc. There's a lot of psychological effects that plays in. And how do we know we're getting the truth as far as the news? And with all that's been going on, it should come to us as human beings to be able to get down in the weeds and do the critical research so we can come up with an independent thought that we can share with others so others can like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Or maybe you have questioned it so much where someone else will actually go and do research and then formulate an answer or formulate another thought. And so maybe that would help eliminate the final thought of ending one's life. It's like, hey, how can we critically challenge each other to be better? How can you help me? How can I help you? You know what I mean? It's like the question behind the question.
Yep.
I think, and then I'll get on to a happier topic. But I think it's just I think that in a way, what's the right word I'm looking for? I think the news media is where are you getting your news, and it goes back to how we started off the show. With Clyde, and I was talking to Clyde, and so on and so forth. It's a Republican and a Democrat, and you look at it, and according to other news stations, such as the Communist News Network, um, you look at it and you look at it and say, "Well, that's not supposed to happen. The whites and the blacks aren't supposed to be talking to each other. The Asians, now we got the Asian hate. The Asians and the all this isn't supposed to happen. We go into this, but you see out here, oh well, everybody's loving. I don't know. I mean, I think that you gotta do your research, and I know Wong and we talk about all the time is you got to do your research. First and foremost, because if you don't do your research, you're going to be floating up the Oklahoma River without a paddle, and best of luck to you when you get close to that dam. But I think if you do your research, I really now I'm picturing somebody actually doing that. I really, I think if you do your research, you'll be in a better suit. Not saying that's gonna be your best options, but nonetheless, I think this is a good topic to discuss and one that I kind of would like to talk about. It's nothing in particular. It's kind of cool one, I think. Is podcasting. Obviously, I met Dan through podcasting. Well, actually, he was. I wasn't doing nothing. But Dan was podcasting. So it doesn't matter who starts with on this one. What made you start one? How did you decide what you wanted to talk about? And did you have any goals set when you first started it?
Ooh. So we started out as the Sports Cave originally. This is maybe 3 years ago, 3 years ago. And I said, okay, we're going to be a sports show. Let's see where this goes. And, let's do stuff. That lasted for over 40 episodes, and that one. And then I decided, you know what? I don't want to be just a sports show. I want to be something different. So, naturally, I would turn to some inspiration. I turned to Joe Rogan Experience, and I also turned to a very unlikely source, Dan Le Batard Show. If you don't know who that is, I highly suggest you check that out because he is hilarious. And he's what you would call a renegade sports show. Mm-hmm. So I decided, all right, I want to talk sports, but also I want to talk whatever's on the mind and talk some nonsense, talk whatever. So I got the logo, Time to BS, and we were off. And then eventually I wanted to do a show that was exclusively raw talk, talk what's on your mind, talk whatever, unfiltered, anything. And then eventually that became BS sessions where we could talk, again, whatever's on your mind. So what drives me is, I want to have fun. I don't care for numbers and money and crap. Just want to have good old-fashioned fun. And that's what I love to do. Have a good time. If you're good at doing something, you better have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm. They do say the best one out there is the one having the most fun.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, starting the podcast was a challenge to do something I've never done before. My wife, Margie, obviously, we collaborated together because we both are not in the audio video sphere. But it's a challenge to do something we've never done before and to bridge a communication gap with our community, with our neighbors. How do we get to know our neighbors more? Are they willing to come on and share a story? And from that, it went from one neighbor he came on one of the very first stories that came on. He talked about his first tour over in Iraq and how his striker ran over an IED and he lost one leg. So from that story, we went all the way to have a podcast with Mayor Holt, to having a podcast with General Thompson, the Oklahoma National Guard, to Highway Patrol troopers, and then led us to Coach Tom George. So if you think about it, and to Dan's point, it's not the following, because you're not looking for, we're not looking for followers. We just want to build a bridge of communication to link people up with one another to share their stories. It doesn't matter if you're the mayor, it doesn't matter if you're the next door neighbor, right? It's open to who wants to come and share a story. If you're willing to do that, then I feel like we're winning at that point. So it's a challenge to do something you've never done before, bridge a community, share stories, and just keep sharing stories. And this is how we probably all met. It's through some type of social media platform. So
I remember exactly how we all met. I met Mike from a sports app, U Stadium.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, Mike introduced me to you, Hoang, and we all took off. And it was like, oh, we're just three guys being dudes. We're just having a good time. That's the best way to do it.
100%, man, 100%.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't change that for the world, guys.
No, and I'm not gonna take too much time, but mine was simply just, hey, I just wanted to have fun. If you're passionate about something, whether it's sports or if you want to mix into all gears, like how Dan does it, or if you want to go out into the world and meet the mayor, the governor, lieutenant governor, doesn't matter who. I say go for it. I mean, I was telling my manager today at work, because we were just talking. I said, you got to pursue what makes you happy. You just can't sit back, settle for second best, and hope that down the road you get to where you want to go. Because at the end of the day, again, as we talked about earlier, you're setting yourself up to be average, so to speak. But no, I enjoy it. I met a lot of people. I mean, I still talk to a lot of people that come on. The founder of Law Terrain Watches, Dave, he's a real cool dude. Another American, living the American dream story that I look forward to posting. Of course, others down the road and all that. But no, I enjoy it. How long am I going to do this? I have no time frame. I got none. I think my end, I'm just getting started. This is fun, but we'll see. But one thing I will talk, and I don't know so much controversial, but nonetheless, it makes you stretch. Going back to 2020, I asked Dave this, and I might have asked Hoang, maybe on a defining moment, I can't remember. But controversial, not mask, no mask. If you don't feel comfortable answering, I would totally respect that. We have a close family member, and I'm not going to say too loud because I don't know if she's listening. I don't want to start something here. But close family friend that's currently in the hospital, battling COVID and pneumonia at the same time. Some days good, some days bad. She can't get a shot due to allergy reasons. Fair enough. Have it twice. Not doing well. Contrary to this, my mom has COVID. I didn't post anything on social media due to the fact that I would have had to be tested. And no, she's perfectly fine.
I was about to say, how is she doing?
Oh, she's perfectly fine. She's recovering, but she's fine. I wasn't there. So everybody that's out there listening or for watching, oh my God, he's working and spreading the COVID. No, I was there for 1 minute, no contact with her. We're good. When I found out, I was out the door. My dad shooed me out. Nonetheless, my mom got her shot. Wears a mask everywhere. My dad can't drive. He don't go nowhere. My grandma can't go nowhere. My contrary to this, I promise to be the last controversial one, and then we're in on a good note. Final one. Do we know what truly the guidelines are to what fixes this issue? And the reason why I say that is because I look at two different stories here. People. My mom got her shots. She masks up everywhere I go. I tell her she don't have to because she's vaccinated, but she still does. Because for the health of my dad and my grandma. So she does almost everything that the CDC people guidelines. Shots, optional, but that was her choice, fair enough. Shots, vaccine or mask, she's good. The other person I'll name names out of respect can't get her shots because of allergic reactions. Had it once, but can't get it again. Do we? And this is where I question. And this is again research, or at this point, common sense. But I don't know what the answer is at this point. Anyway, my question to you guys, whoever wants to feel obligated to answer or want to, is it safe to say at this point, knowing these two people, obviously different stories at this rate, to say, hey, can we say that we don't know what's going on and what the right procedure is in regards to COVID-19 and how to fight this virus at this rate, knowing that we have two separate things. Someone got the shots, wear their mask, still got it, and vice versa on the different one.
I suggest we have a cigar, enjoy some whiskey, and enjoy the ride. Because who knows how long this ride will end. But I suggest we enjoy it while we still can.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What Dan's suggesting, and to your point, Michael, as far as your question is, there's a lot of data out there that will tell you both sides of it, and upon further research myself, looking at CDC data, Johns Hopkins University, how it breaks it down even more granular, if you were to say, hey, Hoang, my dad is sick, but I want you to come over and hang out and converse with us, but I need you to wear a mask. 100% I would wear it.
Right.
Even though I understand in my own thoughts and rationale that I'm not a believer in it. However, I respect to you, your friendship, your family, 100% I'd wear it. Now, if I were to go shopping to a store and they're like, you must wear a mask, well, then I make that decision. Do I want to walk in? Right? Or do I not want to do it? So it's just one of those things where I feel like common sense and logical and rational thinking actually kind of go out the door to a certain extent until you get to someone's family. Then if they ask you to put it on, then put it on. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all, because I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. But if I want to see you and converse with you, yeah, 100%. That's the conversation with you and your dad would be worth more than me being an arrogant jerk and saying, "Oh, well, the data says this." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but there's a lot of data that will tell you both sides of the story, and then therefore it's up to us to do their own research and deductive reasoning to see what's the best for our own self.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm not going to touch on too much because I know a lot of, I'm sure someone will say it, but, my mom's doing fine. I did not wear a mask, everybody knows, but she's doing fine. And that's all I got because, I was unaware she had it until I walked in. So that's my cover. People was like, oh, you should have had a mask on. Well, I didn't know. So,
yeah.
But
well, there's a lot of FUD out there, too.
Well, exactly. I mean, you got to, again, do your research. 99.9%, you'll be all right. But on the contrary, to end the note on a wonderful podcast, two questions, real simple. First one, beside all of our podcasts, what's another podcast you listen to that you highly recommend?
This guy and this guy. And especially this guy. All three of us.
I like it. I like it.
There you go.
I like y'all's podcast, and there's another one. His name is Andy Frischella, Real AF.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. There's a lot of F-bombs in it, so if you're not an F-bomb type of person, it's probably not for you. Well, the content's good, but the language, I'm down. I'm here for it. I get my popcorn. I'm just, my man.
Delicious.
No, I besides us or besides you two, non-sports related, I'm right now hooked on the Dan Bongino show. I'm real hooked on his. And if you don't like him, well, cool. You need still to listen to him. I listen to him. Huge fan of his. So non-sports related, definitely the Dan Bongino show. I haven't listened to his today, but the J Boy show, if you want to go sports wise, J Boy. The girl who talks sports, Sam Cardona. You know, a good friend of mine, Daryl, who just does Just Okay Sports, is amazing too. So, I mean, I get listen to all of them when I do have time. For the exception, of course, your guys's wonderful work. And last but not least, we're one that puts you in your place to see if you're doing not so much the right thing, but kind of it's overlooking your life in a good way, not no bad, like, oh, here we go again with I don't want to depress nobody. So that's my disclaimer. Please don't feel bad if I'm making you feel bad. I'm really not trying to do that. Legacy. We always talk about legacy. We always talk about what's the president's legacy. We always talk about president's legacy. 4 years, 8 years. If you're FDR, 16 years, whatever the case may be. If you're Vladimir Putin, 44 years. What's your legacy? I mean, okay, Vladimir, I love you. Okay, don't know harm feelings. I don't know the guy. No, jokes aside, legacy. When you look at legacy, what's your definition of legacy? And let's put us. Hoang, how old are you?
41.
That's right. I knew you were. That's right. You told me that one day. Dan, you?
I thought you were 33 for a good few minutes.
Well, I did too at first. I think I asked him.
I thought so too.
Time on lunch. I'm like,
thanks,
when
man.
he mentioned it, I totally forgot.
23.
That's right. Yeah, because you're 10 years and I'm 33. So let's put us all. I know age gaps. That's fine, but let's just say, good Lord takes us home at. Let's do 80 years old. I mean, I don't know. Let's just do 80 for the heck of it. The McClintock side, we don't live very long. We live about mid-60s, and we're counting it out. But looking back, and obviously we don't know what the future holds, so I can't say 20 years from now, are you going to have 42, 42 podcasts, more guests, or whatever? I don't know. But obviously we can't predict down the road. But as of right now, but even just in general, what's one thing when your funeral takes place, what's one thing that you hope that people do or you want them to say about your legacy?
That I wasn't an asshole. No, but like, if people find me to be a good guy, great. If people find me to be an asshole, great. I mean, when my dog passed 2 years ago, what I always look at is I gave him the best life I could possibly have given him. Through 12 years of his life, I gave him the best life I could possibly give him.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, he's probably sitting up there, wagging his ass off, wagging his tail, with all the steak bones in the world. But I would always make sure, hey, if my time is up in the next, 10 minutes, 80 years or so, I always make sure, you know what? I had myself a pretty damn good life. I'll make sure I have a damn good life. And Mike left the screen.
I'm here.
There he is.
I gotta tell you, when I tell you mine, I have a visitor to show. But no, the reason why I asked this, and before we finish off the topic, is is talking about legacy, and nowadays, and I'm not knocking the stay-at-home mothers, and I get COVID played a role. Some people are like, oh well, yes, I respect everybody that does it. My wife does it. I respect her. But a lot of people don't really. I read an article, and it talks about, and it was a teenage kid. His dad passed away in the military. He's over Vermont, somewhere over northeast part of the country. Long story short, he said, "I know my dad is proud of me." And he wrote it as 15. He's now 22, graduated, and he's finishing off college. He said, "I just hope my dad's proud of me because I promised to him I'd take care of mom." And it puts me in the perspective as we want to talk about legacies, and we talk about, because at the end of the day, are we even making a good impression on someone? And that's, like for me, for example, and this guy over here, I'm pretty sure he'll tell me, where are we at?
You left. There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
This guy says his legacy is pretty darn amazing. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. By the way, I got this in Missouri when we went to Springfield. Pretty amazing. It was a candy shop. So anybody wants to go there and get one. Pretty top spot. However, it was made in China, so I don't know what to tell you about that one. Anyway, no. So jokes aside, besides that little character, so like mine is like, yeah, I screwed up. There we go. I screwed up. I've had my moments. I ain't gonna lie about that one. But at the end of the day, and I'm writing it for my dad's thing as well, as you always talk about family guy. Wong, I know we always talk about family, and even a few weeks ago when I was just more overwhelmed, just like, this sucks. Man, people, I need help. Not so much mentally, but man, this sucks. But and like Juan said, it really put into his perspective, and now even the mowing season is practically over with now, but I still got one more time. But like Wong said, and it's plain as simple as just enjoy the moment, because you realize, yeah, you're overwhelmed mowing. That sucks. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but just be honest that, hey, you got that extra roughly 3 hours with them, or at least sitting with them, that you may or may not have down the road. And Wong, going back to that, your definition of what you would consider legacy and what people would say down the road, you hope for down the road.
Yeah, I hope I made an impact in your life. That's it.
Well said. Very well said.
Thanks.
Well, I'm the same way. Weird dude. My kids would say, well, he's weird. Okay. Cool. I'll take it. I mean, yeah, that's cool. I call my parents weird, so fair enough.
Generally weird.
Fair enough. No, I think that if Lord willing, not Lord willing, but if I was to live another, I'll put myself 40 years. That's fair enough. If I put myself at another 40 years, that I would say for sure. Okay, I gotta be serious, but for sure that a fighter. For my kids' sake, my dad was a fighter. He wasn't perfect. Yeah, he screwed up a lot. My wife will contest to that one. But at the end of the day, he knew what matters most, and that was family. Family man that did what I can do, and hope that it was for the best.
There you go.
I like it, man. Hey, can I have that guy?
You want him?
Billions and billions.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I'll hook him up. I'll give you that. I don't care. I got a Donald Trump $2 bill over there too.
Nice.
I found it too. Someone's missing money.
Hey, another good podcast is Ben Shapiro's podcast.
Ooh,
Yes.
yes.
Dude is salty, man.
You know, I just followed him on Twitter. I didn't realize he had a Twitter.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had one too.
Yep.
I
How's
figured
Bongino doing? Because he had surgery, I think, last summer, early this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's he doing?
He's doing fine. You know, the last episode, I haven't listened to it fully. Watched bits and clips. And for all of you out there that want to know the truth about, and this is a whole topic we ain't even going to discuss because I got so much to say on this one. Afghanistan, the Taliban. Definitely check that. The one I'll send it to you, Wong. His newest one that just came out.
Perfect.
I'll have to find it to make sure. Really, really good and very interesting information.
Yeah, send it, man.
Very.
Speaking of that, last couple of weeks, man, it brought back some crazy memories for my parents because they came from Vietnam, right, off of a boat, and they fled a communist country and during a war close towards the end of it, and yeah, it's insanely close as far as the memories to my parents.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm not gonna, obviously harp on it too long, but going back or taking place, and my prayers goes out to everybody that's affected by this. Well, first off, my prayers go out to everybody that's affected by Hurricane Ida. What a horrible mess down there, and also even more of a mess over in Afghanistan with the Taliban. What are your oh, I gotta delete something. In regards to your parents, obviously you can't compare the two, I'm sure. But seeing what you see over there right now, Wong, does your parents, and I'm not, obviously, don't go too much into detail, but if you don't feel comfortable or if they even had it, but have they asked or talked to you about much about that since Afghanistan, kind of comparing the two, or is it more just worse but the same, or how does that kind of differ? I'm just kind of curious.
No, that's a good question. I actually appreciate the question. What my parents have talked in depth about it. Every time we speak to Vietnam and the fleeing from a communist country, it's 33 days on a boat, and then they do remember the air control towers getting blown up, bombed in Saigon at the airport, watchtowers where they had guards up getting destroyed. And this is really interesting. My parents go to a temple in Oklahoma City, and I had befriended one of their friends who's probably around the same age, late 60s. And she spoke to her flight was the second to last flight out of Saigon, which ended up being the last flight because as the planes were taking off parallel and tandem off of different tarmacs, as she looked over her right shoulder, the window, she saw that plane actually got destroyed as it was on the tarmac. So that's why it became the last flight out instead of second to last. And so she saw that with her own eyes getting blown off the tarmac. And fortunately for them, they were able to take off. But you hear stories from some of the elders at the temple about hiding from the communists, the Viet Cong, in the jungle, in the boats, in the river, things like that. I mean, my grandfather was equivalent to the Navy for the South Vietnamese Army or South Vietnamese Navy, and he practically forced my parents onto the boat with no money, no nothing. I mean, just each other and the clothes they had on their back, nothing else. And they floated at the across for 33 days, and a bowl of rice apiece. And without the United States Army or military, I wouldn't be here, obviously, right? Because I was born here in America.
Right.
But it's just the little things you hear every time you talk to them. It's like, man, I want to get them on the podcast, but it's tough for them to come on and share their stories.
Oh, absolutely.
I think a defining moment for me last year was when this whole the whole virus, the China virus, was hitting, and I asked my parents about it, and my dad said something else critical in perspective. He put it as, this virus is real. However, we were on that boat for 33 days, and when we were getting on that boat, we were dodging bullets. We were hiding. We were scared. People were dying of diseases. People were dying of starvation. And then he reiterated again, we were dodging bullets. So, they're pretty undefeated. So that's why the whole thing Undefeated came about. It was just the mindset that it takes to get you to where you want to be, not just necessarily for their lives, but they were doing it because they had my brother and I over here. And so they were just, whatever it took, 3 jobs, whatever. And so I'm grateful. And so then to your last part of the question is, how do I want to be remembered? My legacy is I want to make an impact on whomever I come in touch with, because I want to impact your life somehow. So that's it.
Cheers.
Yay!
Cheers to that.
Well, I know one thing, both of you for sure have impacted my life in more ways than I can even remotely say. And I apologize, I'm trying to find the podcast, the episode, but nonetheless, you guys definitely have impacted my life, and Dan, you need to get your ass down here to Oklahoma City, because
Eventually, I will find a way to get over there.
Some good...
Either you get over here or I get over there.
Well, I told Dave, the founder of La Terrain Watches, probably about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours now. But I told him, I said, when I go to North Carolina, we got to hook up for some good old barbecue. But
good times.
He says North Carolina has some good barbecue, so we'll find out one day.
I can attest to that.
But no, and I was thinking about you, Hoang, especially seeing what's taking place over in Kabul. People fleeing for their lives, obviously dodging bullets, probably not as the same and kind of the same way as your parents did. Of course, theirs is probably more worse than what's going on now, but even and now seeing literally they're to your face and killing you, and now unfortunately using our own Blackhawks to hang people, but that's another topic for another day. But I just want people to wake up to realize what's really taking place, and first and foremost, and see how grateful we are to live in this country, because I'm afraid we're about to lose a lot more than what we got.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great point about being raw about the situation, being honest about it. I mean, all three of us like sports. For me, though, the sports is just a Band-Aid to hold.
Yep.
Because in reality, it's about the United States of America and the freedoms that we get to have and enjoy due to the sacrifices of the men and women, right, of our United States military. Without them, we're in trouble, obviously. So all this talk about sports and the social trends, Black Lives Matter, whatever, Stop Asian Hate, enjoy those conversations right now if you want, because those little petty conversations will eventually go away if you're not fighting for your country. I don't mean pull a gun and fight. I'm just talking about being able to educate, fight back, hold the line, educate people, and don't use history as a weapon. Use history as a lesson to teach, because it's 2021 about to be 2022.
Yep.
And if you're not getting better, then you're the one who's losing.
There you go.
And if you don't read history, usually repeats itself.
Yeah, fact.
Usually,
It
more
does.
often than not.
No, it it definitely does. And you know, yeah, we all, I'm sure someone's listening out there. There we go. Someone's listening out there. Hey Wong, I sent you two screenshots of what the Dan Bongino show I was listening to. I had to watch the audio or the video version of it because of what he was talking about. But the two pictures I sent you, it's gonna be it'll blow your mind. But anyway, and Dan, I'll be glad to send if you're kind of curious myself. We're like, what is he
Check it
talking
out.
about? It's just what was left behind, and just so everybody knows what we're going to be dealing with. Um, that stuff still pisses me off. But anyway, no, I think Wong, you're right. I think it's okay to fight for your race, and I think it's okay to fight for whatever you believe in. I don't, if you believe in whatever, go for it. I'm not going to hold you back. But at the same time, I think you got to realize and fight for your country because, like you said, sports and Dave and I even talked about this earlier. Dave, we talked about, and you nailed it. Sports is just something to get away from life on for what 3 hours max, maybe 3.5, depends on what sport you're watching. Golf and an all day thing. Um, but it's just I think we just need to have some fun. I mean, we just got to fight for this country, fight for what it's about. Hey, I mean, midterms are next year. Let's get this country back in the right direction. But
Hey, hold on, I gotta find something too.
oh god,
I mean, since if you're gonna break that out, then I got a little something too, bro. So it's all good.
oh lord, ah!
There we
You know what I'm
go.
saying?
There we go. Oh man.
Watch
We're
out,
having
dude. He's gonna give you a kiss. Ah, look at that. Hey, Wong, he's gonna get up.
I'm in the middle of the screen. I'm in the middle right here. Mike is here, and Mike is there, and Wong is there.
So he's looking at you, Dan.
Wait, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, and by the way, one thing that really baffles me is how does this hat make someone mad? Literally.
I heard it's racist. I'm still trying to figure that part out.
Well, you talked about Stop Asian Hate earlier. How did that even happen? Why did that even happen? Or why did they come up with
the church? And I'm not, gonna. I don't know. I really don't know what transpired on that. I do know there's a church on Northwest 50th Street right before you get onto Hefner Parkway. That during the whole Stop Asian Hate, they actually had probably 4-6 foot sign out there that says, "Hey, Asians, come visit our church. We love you." I mean, I don't know what kind of church it was. It was off of 50th, literally. It's right before Independence, because Independence turns into the Service Road. Then it's the high. Okay, so yeah, it's right before Independence. I don't know what I don't know what church it was, but during the Stop Hate Asian movement, they actually had a sign out there that said that. So
it's a little cold in here. I had to get a jacket on. I just got this too. It's a nice jacket. Comfy. Nice. Super Bowl 40. Wait. There we go. Super Bowl 41.
Nice.
Comfy jacket. Very comfy jacket.
Yeah, I don't even know what started the whole Stop Asian Hate. I'm confused.
Just stop fighting, man. Just oh my god, Mike.
Boomer.
Sooner.
Oh, man. Just I don't know. Just play some poker. Enjoy a game of poker. What's wrong with that? Get along with a game of poker. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
that's what I would do at least. Just enjoy some poker or some cards or jacks or or Monopoly. That's what I would do. I gotta learn to play poker eventually.
It's too boring for me, dude.
I've never been. I ain't gonna lie. I never got into card games. I tried. I really did. I just really epically failed at that.
Hey, you guys want to say hi to Margie?
Margie.
Margie. Margaret.
It's like, what do you fucking bastards want?
Who's this guy? Who's this guy in the Seahawks hat?
Donald Lowe's.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Margie.
Hey.
I like it.
It's my wife.
There we go.
Everyone's having a good time. I'm Danny.
How are you, Margie?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Staying busy, but can't complain. I'm trying to tell Hoang to, he's got to make sure to step up his, keep his A game going because he's rocking it out right now.
On Twitter, on what?
All the above.
Oh,
Margaret was with me when I bought your clothes for your birthday.
oh, really? I like it.
I'm sure the ladies in the store probably thinking, why are there two guys holding flowers?
No, they look great.
No, he did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did a good job.
Good job.
We're going to get banned down in Oklahoma City one day.
All right.
Mr. Whiskey in the Eye guy.
Hey, listen, I'm all the way in New York, so either you come here or I come there.
Fair enough.
I think we prefer you come here.
I'll
Second that one.
Yeah, New York is boring. New York, there's too much. It's all compressed over here.
He lives in Long Island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not too bad over here.
No, I like Long Island.
It's nice. You get some beaches here. You get stuff over there, and then you get some more stuff there. It's too compact over here.
You got some gangs, whatever.
Yes. Oh God, strange over there. I will find a way. I will find a way to come to Oklahoma. I will find a way.
I like it.
We'll work it all out.
We'll work it out eventually.
Don't get too excited there. Our COVID cases are skyrocketing through the roof, I guess.
Hey. I will find a way, though. We will find a way. We'll make it work.
My coverage. I get that a lot, so I was like, yeah, I guess I do, man.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, I'm going back.
Okay.
All right. Hey, it's good to see you all.
Good to see you too. Mark.
Bye.
Good to see you too.
Speaking of nonverbal language,
I can't play music, so that was gonna be my joke.
No, that's good. She did.
Joining for volume 24 of BS Sessions.
So speaking of that, let's talk some podcasts really quick. Dan, how's your podcast going? I know you got Time to BS sessions coming up. I say too many
Hoang
guests.
is coming on next. Hoang is coming on next, and then we get Frankie of U Stadium is on after him, and then Dave, the founder of Lottery Watches, is coming on for volume 24. So
nice.
I still gotta figure something out for 25 and 26, but I'll take my time.
Yeah, you still got what, 3 still to go? 4-ish, whatever.
Roughly, yeah.
Nice.
Well, it's 21 was recently. Was with Moose.
Yep.
That was fun.
Moose is cool.
That was fun, yeah. What was he up to? Oh, yeah, he's doing push-ups. I'm on Snapchat. He's working out. Of course he is. Oh, man. Oh, it's late for me.
Yeah, I'll wrap this up. But as always, gentlemen, thanks for coming on. It was fun.
Privilege is
Had
all
some
mine,
fun
man.
and had some deep conversations. But I think as long, and again, all you listeners out there, if you have any issues, I'm not no therapist. I'm definitely not a doctor. I may help you and steer you in the right direction. I will talk to you the best I can, but I'm going to probably send you to the right authorities. If you have any questions, obviously the open DMs, I can't even help myself. The open DMs are out there. Of course, jokes aside, always shoot me a message. I'm sure the same for the other two. Again, we're not therapists and I'm definitely not doctors. So proper authorities will get you in the right direction nonetheless. But gentlemen, it was fun.
It was awesome, man. I had a
Oh,
blast,
it was
guys.
fun. A lot of fun.
All you listeners, don't forget tomorrow we're going to talk some NFL football, particularly the Cleveland Browns, and Miss Molly Rose will be on tomorrow night live on the live streams.
God bless America.
If I have one,
With my bush of hair.
Sir, yes, sir.
I'm trying to grow it out. It's even worse.
God.
Wait.
Uh,
Wait. There we go. Mission accomplished.
Nonetheless, Molly Rose, a huge Cleveland sports fan, and I love Cleveland sports people because I tell you, they're the most passionate SOBs, and yet they get treated so horrible by their father. Do what?
They're also depressed.
But it's funny, but I love these Brownie fans because Ian
listen, I can't say crap. I'm an Islander.
They can be 0-15. These guys are shooting up cannons and going crazy in the stand. These guys are passionate.
Listen, Mike, I can't say shit. I'm an Islander fan.
That's true.
That's true.
I can't say shit.
So of course, tomorrow night live stream on Facebook, YouTube, recording after the dropping of the podcast afterwards with Molly Rose, huge Cleveland fan. We're talking definitely Cleveland Browns, so definitely joining on that one. Arthur Lentz, the former Georgia Bulldog, comes on Thursday, and then Friday, JT and David. We're talking a preview of Oklahoma Tulane that will take place in Norman on Saturday. So
football.
That will conclude college football.
So much football.
So much football.
Hey, did you say the Cleveland Browns or the Cleveland Browns?
I
got the joke.
Cleveland Browns.
I got the joke. Well done. Long. Well done.
That's an inside joke.
I got it. Well done.
Undefeated.
Well, if anything else, I got one person that's going to be watching tomorrow night. He's been hyped about this show for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Nice, Dan.
I think it's
what? What'd I do?
I think it's the fact that we actually have females starting to come on the Area Attack podcast.
That's good, man.
I got to show
Diversity.
you, dude.
No pun
Diversity.
intended. I really got to show the love.
There you go.
No pun intended.
Cool, man. We'll tune in.
Woo!
Yeah, tune in, ask questions away.
Call.
And, hey, it'll be fun. She's actually pretty excited, which I'm happy because I'm glad people are excited to actually come on. Because
Yeah, man.
that's pretty cool. That's especially Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield going to do his thing. I got some questions for her about Baker. I'm kind of curious what she thinks.
We'll tune in tomorrow. Find out.
7 p.m., homie.
All right, man. See you guys.
See you guys. You've been listening to the Area Attack podcast. Listen to us on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, wherever you get your major podcasts from. And of course, live stream YouTube, Twitch, And nonetheless, don't forget to go to lawterrain.com. Save 10% using the code AIRRAID for your wonderful swag. Droppings of the both podcasts will more than likely take place tomorrow night, so you'll get 3 in 1. But nonetheless, gentlemen, it's a pleasure having you guys on. You've been listening to the Air Raid Attack podcast. We will see you tomorrow night at 7 Central.